Welcome to Colney Talk Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Hope your week is going well. You are listening to Colney Talk Podcast, a bite-sized show. I'm your host, Alex. First-time guest, thank you and welcome. And to my returning listeners, always good to have you back. On the show, I talk a little bit about the Arsenal game and then pick out my 3 Arsenal players who I think were great in the game and 1 player I consider the other guy who just had a poor game or not good enough. It's the return of Europa League knockout round. Sporting Portugal coming to the Emirates. Starting off, very strong lineup in the game. Great to see Jesus start. That was exciting. But then the start of our misfortunes began. We lost Tomiyasu to injury. Shortly after, Saliba joins him walking off the pitch. Sporting looked very aggressive in the game. They dominated the midfield. They outmatched us, in gaining control. It was not a good look. In the game, Arsenal just had to establish a good control and create a very strong defending posture as the game just started. Instead, we did so much of reactionary defending, getting caught out of possession. Sporting Portugal, they were a really serious threat. Arsenal, we had to find our rhythm, and it took us a while to get there. And in the early parts of the first half, we just were struggling. Our defense were stretched. We hadn't shown our intensity. But then we started climbing. It was a fairly slow start, and we did it in a nice fashion. What a nice thunder strike rebound goal by Xhaka. No chance of anyone saving that at all. And then another unlucky situation offside where, Sporting were saved by a penalty. We would have had that and, kicked on. And then Arsenal's confidence really woke up. We just needed to put up another score. We had very good chances. Jesus, we always remembered him. Chaotic in Sporting's final third. It just looked so good seeing him, just do what he normally does and attack and just creating a lot of havoc around the very dangerous side of Sporting's, defense. And it looked good. It looked like we were taking control, and we just continued this very bad, rhythm of losing ball passes. And it was not a luxury this game because the way Sporting played, they were forcing us a lot and really losing the ball possession, losing a lot of our passes, and we just couldn't afford to do that any much longer. And Arsenal weren't really staying on it. Sporting pressed really well, caused a lot of disruption for us, but Jesus, Reece, and Martinelli were just a handful. It looked like something in Martinelli was really unlocked to raise his level because his connection with Jesus was a lot more for the visitors to handle. It was just so evident. We peppered Sporting Portugal in their box. Arsenal, we found that extra gear, and that was so, encouraging to see as we really grew well into the game. Lots of defending for Sporting, as you would expect. They continued doing so much of that in their own half. We really pushed them and dominated the rest of the game. We did that for the rest of the first half in putting them in that tight situation. But then Sporting, they tried to fight back and especially trying to take us out of our shape. Something that they capitalized on early in the first half and just found that was their way of really taking us out in the game or really keeping us unsettled. And there was a lot for that to keep in mind going to the second half. Then, as the second half started, Sporting just showed more of that energy than we did. We went back into our poor form, losing the ball more than expected. Sporting mounted a very heavy flow of pressure with so close scoring chances. Arsenal couldn't keep control of the ball at all. It was just poor. Then Ramsdale just showed his superpower with an unbelievable save. Sporting, their counter pressing kept us out of ball control and possession so easily. This was just unbecoming. We were really under pressure. Zinchenko was working his socks off in the game, defending a lot. We kept losing the ball so quickly, especially in the midfield. It was horrible to see. We gave it away as if we just lost our confidence and our balance of play. Arsenal, we were in real suffering mode. Then we conceded a stunning goal that will live in the highlight reel for months. Credit to that goal. It was just, really unbelievable. We just had to try to do all we could to take the sting out of Sporting Portugal's attack. I just couldn't contain my nerves, honestly. Just so much to bear. Then we had to make some adjustments. Partey came on to reset things for the spine. What a huge impact Thomas Partey makes in the middle. Instant pressure valve to absorb Sporting's blitz. It was just too much. And then we just kind of made it like an even battle with the visitors as they continued to turn on their press. But then Arsenal, we just needed to do more. We had to come through. We charged on to snatch a goal, but we just tried a lot to just maybe make that extra gear turn in our favor and really score and close this game out. But it didn't happen, and we tried our best until full time. Now it was extra time. First of the tournament, I think. Such a very, very tough game. Our scale of balance and chemistry was gone. Not sure if it was from the substitutions or how these injuries really started and just threw us off a bit. We had the chances to close out the game with Trossard finishing it off, but no, it even hit the post. Just nothing was going for us, and it was just such a nightmare. We kept pushing and probing and mounting tons of attack after Odegaard came on. We needed to make something happen. The team, the fans, we were really behind. Arsenal were really trying to push. But then indecisions in the box to take a shot was just not really happening. We had the fire. We had everything really going. But just to convert, making something happen, it just couldn't really connect. It just didn't really make that complete, closure of getting the ball in the net. And that's the way it went until penalty shootout. There we had our exit. Such a painful loss. We played a tough team and they came out on top. There's no other way to say it, because the way we started in the first half and how we grew into the game slowly was just something that we can all think and analyze and just sort of consider as a very poor way of how we usually perform. And then we got into the second half and did better, and we had the opportunities to really make something happen and really closing out this game. We made it extra difficult for ourselves. Some of the players in the midfield just didn't do enough. Some of the players didn't do enough. They were exploited. It just made it so tough and harder for us to really make this such a much more convincing closeout, even though this was not just an easy team to play against. That's how we went out in this early stage of the knockout tournament. So that's that. Now, getting into my top three players of the game. First guy, Reiss Nelson. He was alive in the game. His link-up play with Jesus was really good. He didn't lose the ball quite as much, and his hustle on ball recovery really helped us out when we were trying to get our attacking rhythm. Really light on his feet and created very good chances. So, I was impressed with how Reiss Nelson played, and it was just a very good, display, and I like that he started to kind of give him confidence to know that his contributions for this team is very, very well needed. Second player, Rob Holding. Very big credit to him, and I put him in there because this is a player who has not had, I repeat, this is a player who has not had any meaningful minutes for a very long time, and he did not look off the mark, because you would expect someone to be rusty, someone that hasn't really been game sharp and really been up to the game speed, being out of the game for a while or not have played. But the way he played rather was really good. He played okay, and we know his qualities. We know what he can do in terms of defending. The way Rob Holding looked in this game didn't look like someone that had not touched the ball, come on the field, in at least in the past 2 months. So that's one of the reasons why I picked him, and big credit to him on that. My final player is Zinchenko. Did a lot of defending, leading the team in different situations. And as you would imagine, his ball distributions in certain situations got us going, got us on our way in transitions. He was such a key player today, so crucial. You can see how he displayed his leadership in rallying the team after we conceded that goal, and doing so much to really get this team really stuck in to continue pushing on to do something. And yeah, he played a really good game today. My other guy was Vieira. He struggled physically, and he was the most targeted getting the ball away from. While I joked about his physicality from the last game, this time around it was not a good look at all. He was getting knocked off, getting the ball, pried away from. Between himself and Jorginho, Vieira was just the most targeted, and they did much of that I'm surprised he stayed longer the game. His gameplay wasn't bad, but the fact that he was the one losing the ball most times was just a very bad situation. And he has a lot of work to do in terms of physicality and knowing that it is something that there will always be that he will always be exploited from. That was just poor from him, and it just causes a lot of situations. And with that, folks, I'll leave it here for now. Reese, Holding, and Zinchenko, my top three, and Vieira, the other guy. A very tough, painful loss for Arsenal, and getting knocked out early in this round, it really sucks. We just have to move on, folks. Our recovery will be judged on Sunday. I'm sure we're definitely going to respond really well. Until then, I'll talk to you later. Take care, and bye-bye.